Let's go to work, 'cause I'm tripping. Gotta work on myself, 'cause I'm falling apart. Please wake me up, 'cause I'm slipping. Can't fight this feeling off no more. But I'm not going to give up and fall.
Hi guys, it's Michelle, and in all seriousness now, no dancing allowed. I wanted to let you know that I have made a very long video into 3 videos, and so there's part 1, part 2, part 3. I don't know which part you're watching right now, but if it's not 1, then it's 2 or 3. But I did want to say thank you for your encouragement and your feedback from the last visit to the ER code stroke video that I made. Thank you for your feedback. From what I heard, y'all don't care that I go down rabbit trails. Great, because I've got a few holes to hop around to. But you also want to know more about my migraines, and you also want to know more about orchids. So I think we can accommodate. What is this? I'd say it was a gray hair, but they're all gray hair nowadays. Anyway, I see it sticking up like a bat wing. I did have a hard week, and I have used Mr. Kane a lot. There was 3 days in a row where after the ER visit, we buddied around a lot. A couple of you asked if I would explain how I knew what kind of migraines I was getting. And I got some of my feet that's making noise here, sorry. And I'll tell you, it was hard at first. At first, the hemiplegic migraines were what started. And it happened for me that hemiplegic migraines took out parts of my body and my mental capacity, but it never produced migraine pain. So I never knew all these years when I would have these different incidences that it was hemiplegic migraine. But as I got closer to 50, it was 47, 49, they started bombarding, and now the head pain, the auras, all the sensory and head issues, and the falling and collapsing issues that I was having began to make sense. They all merged to present themselves as hemiplegic migraines. And I started off at my primary doctor. She started treating me as if I had regular migraines. I told her what I was having, told her that I had auras. Auras are your, for some people, they don't get auras, but for me and for others, there's about 5 or 6 sensory auras you will have. You could have eye vision auras, where you see things, shapes, stars, sparkles, colors, blocks of color, no color, lose your vision, tunnel vision, half vision, one eye, no vision. It's really scary. It's unlimited, the amount of things that can happen with your brain. The other one is smell. There'll be smells that I smell that no one else in the same space as me can smell. And it's usually a smell that doesn't fit the environment. So I smell like radiator fluid smell, that sweet syrupy smell, when I'm in places where there is no cars, no radiators, no food that would resemble maple syrup or anything like that. I also smell other smells at other times that are so really foul smell, and I can't describe it, so I won't try to go back in my memory. Then other people get speech problems, or as you can't get your word out, you can't get the correct word out, your words are mixed up and fumbled and backwards when they come out, or sometimes you can't get any words out. It just doesn't work. Or you stutter. Also, as far as face and mouth, for me, I will get an excessive yawning before a migraine comes. And so I'm like, why am I yawning? And it repetitively goes over and over. And my husband will say to me as we're watching a show or something, he goes, that's like the 5th yawn you've done in the last few minutes. You're going to have a migraine. And I go, really? I've been yawning? I didn't know that. I'm not tired. So that's one thing. Back to the eyes. Some people, their eyes will drip. Mine will drip. My hemiplegic side just drips when I'm going to have a migraine. Before I'm having the migraine part, not while I'm in the pain. It just drips and drips and drips. The other side doesn't, but it, I guess I'll talk about two kinds of migraines. The other side does drip when I'm having cluster headaches, and I'll move on to cluster headaches next. But back to hemiplegic migraines. Auras. We have visual auras, smell auras, speaking auras. We have sensations. We will feel tingles in our arms, shoulders, neck, face, down your ears, back up your spine, like you got the chills when something spooked you. That happens. What else for me? I'm going off the top of my head. I'm not going off script, so I apologize. There are more auras. There are more things. There's probably a book that goes, everyone's different. There's a book. If you wrote a book with 10,000 things, there'd be 10,001 that someone else could come up with. So listen to your body is the key thing. Notice repetitive things. Start writing things down if you're not certain what's happening to you, and you're like, what's happening? My daughter was the one that noticed. My dog was alerting me every time I had a migraine, like at night, at 10 at night, that the dog was really weird at 7 in the morning and wouldn't let me go anywhere, wouldn't let me move. She'd sit on my feet. She'd block the doors. So let your loved ones know, and you yourself also take notes, write it down, and then, or maybe go backwards in time. You have a migraine, and then go backwards in time and write down, what did you feel the day before, the day of, and maybe even 2 days before, because sometimes the auras will come that soon. They'll come 2 or 3 days before you get your migraine. So we figured out, the doctor and I, that I was having hemiplegic migraines. She started treating me as if I had regular migraines, and gave me triptans, which are the first line of medicines that doctors normally give you for migraines. It's just a category called triptans, but there are a variety of different ones in that category. And they would take the pain away, but they would come back. And they take away, but it would come back. And then occasionally it would take it away, and I'd start to lose my memory. It got to the point where I was losing memory, and I was thinking Alzheimer's was setting in, because that runs in my family, and it was very scary. So we went back to the doctor, and she would take me off that one triptan and switch me to something else, because we hadn't really figured out yet that it was hemiplegic migraines. And in general, for hemiplegic migraines, they advise you not to take triptans, because it raises your stroke level to a higher level. And I already had categories that had me going up the stroke levels, so I didn't need to add anything else. Some people, their doctors approve it because they know their full history. Check with your doctor. Don't just listen to me. Check with your doctor. So anyhow, as we move on, we tried a bunch of triptans, realized they were making me worse. And when I started researching some of my symptoms that were getting worse while I was on the triptans, confusion, not able to talk, losing your ability to walk, were all really things that would come on after I took my triptans. So I thought, well, I'm not going to do that anymore. So then we started trying different medicines, different blood pressure medicines, different courses of, what was it called? Like, she'd suggest natural things, herbal supplements. We tried different levels of magnesium. We went through the gamut of trying a variety of things. She also began sending me off to a neurologist to get an EEG of my brain and an MRI of my brain to make sure I wasn't having multiple sclerosis or seizures. So hemiplegic migraine is how it kind of started for me, in the awareness factor that I was having migraines. Now, once that revelation started in my life, then I could look backwards in time. I could see myself at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I can see myself all those years playing softball out in the hot sun, and my head just hurting so bad, and I would just be banging on it, and my eye would be squint closed, and it would be one eye, and we were basketball shooting, and I'd be thinking, oh, this is exhausting. Turns out I was having migraines at a young age too, but I didn't know it. As far as the hemiplegic migraines, they affect half, which is hemi, it usually affects half of your body or brain. They can affect both. They can switch from one side to the other, but generally they stay one-sided. And mine affects my left side. And someone asked me the other day, if it affected your left side, how did you lose the ability to speak? Because that's controlled on the right side or left side. I just got all fumbled in a circle. Like, I don't know. I just opened my mouth and nothing came out. So the number one thing I've learned with migraines and hemiplegic migraines is it's very unpredictable. It changes. You could go months with the worst symptom being a little bit of head pain, or you can go months where you can't remember how you drove your car from one place to the next. You can't remember where you live. You know, it got bad for me while we were trying those medicines, and I was trying to cope and drive my son to evening classes at night. I remember driving, and I had to tell myself out loud where I was and which way I was going. I'd had to say, I'm in the left lane, turning left, turning left. I'm on the inside lane. If there was two turning left lanes, I'd have to remind myself, I'm on the inside lane, inside. That is scary. No one should be like that. And then once I get to where he was, I say, take over and drive. I can't do this. So always know your limits. And since that has not occurred since we have found the proper treatment for me. But the other part of hemiplegic migraines is you will lose the ability to fully use or partially use some limb part on your side that's affected. It will go weak, or it will droop, or it will fully not work at all, or it will freeze up, or completely numb, or it will burn like on fire, and you can't do anything about it, but you're obviously affected. So when I was in my 20s, I used to get these tingles that would go up my arm, and by the time it got to my elbow, I knew that I would only have about 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes before I was unable to communicate clearly and take care of any children around me or drive or anything like that. And this tingle would go up, and I would frantically call my husband and say, it's happening again. And he knew exactly what that meant. And then I'd hang up and I'd call, this was before we had cell phones. And then I'd call my neighbor or my friend and say, please come watch the kids. It's happening again. And because I had 3 young kids in 3 years, you know, it's not good for mama to be laying on the kitchen floor with a 3-year-old, 2-year-old, and 1-year-old going, what's up, Mom? So she would run over and help me. She'd get me to the ER. She'd take the kids. Dad would meet me at the ER. And they never could figure out what it was because there was never a head pain. But when we went back in history and looked at it, they all progressed the same. So the tingling would go up. Once it got to here, I knew I was going out. And there was nothing that I knew to do to stop it. We did know that once I laid down horizontal, my brain could think clearer. I still couldn't talk any clearer, but my brain could process clearer. So I knew I'd be okay if I just laid and made it through. One day, my husband and I were at the surgery center getting ready for me to have my gallbladder removed, and the doctor put the IV in, and immediately that feeling came. And I said to him, what did you give me? Because I have a list of things I'm allergic to. He says, it's just saline water. And I said, no, I'm going to have one of those episodes. And he goes, what? He didn't know what I was talking about. And my husband, I looked at him and I said, it's happening again. And he said, she's going to go down in about 5 to 7 minutes, unable to communicate. She's going to babble. She's going to cry. She's going to scream. She's going to collapse. You're not going to be able to get anything out of her, talk to her. So they quickly ran and got some Benadryl, put it in the line, and it instantly put me down into that crazy hemiplegic world, because we found out on that day, unfortunately, that I am allergic to Benadryl. So I remember them leaning over me as they're prepping me for surgery. The anesthesiologist said, I've given her the Benadryl. Now I've given her something to counter the Benadryl. What do you want me to do? And my husband said, I love my husband. He says, well, she seems to always come out of it okay after she rests a long time. I imagine you just go through with the surgery because she's going to come home and just sleep when you're done. And that's what they did. He's like, are you sure? And he had him sign a waiver. And I think I was able to give a thumbs up, like, yeah, let's go for it. And, came out of it, went home, slept for the day too, whatever you do after surgery, and was fine. But that's how I knew that it was coming for me. It always started in my left arm. And then in 2016, it started behind my left knee. I would get a burning fire, like nerve pain. Like it wasn't zapped. It was a constant fire pain. And it would get worse. I'd rub my knee and I think, what's going on? And then it would go up my thigh and I would rub my leg. And then I noticed I'd be tripping and kicking the floor. And I'd go to walk the stairs and my foot didn't make it up to the next stair. And I brought all these things up to my doctor and he said, we may need to check you to see what's going on. Some of those signs are like MS. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't got time for that. I told him, I'm moving cross country. Sorry, I'll check in with the new doctor when I get there. And of course I did. But I didn't tell him all of the stuff. I did tell him that I was having migraines. Anyway, it worked out. We figured it all out. We know it's not MS. I've had multiple MRIs. My head to my tailbone has been MRI'd, CAT scanned, and X-rayed. And there is no lesions, no white matter, no nothing. My husband says, are you sure there's anything in there? So that is one called hemiplegic migraine. That is the big umbrella migraine for me. It comes with auras. It comes with warning because the auras come and because my body goes crazy. And it can last, when it usually an attack comes, it's a 3 days or 4 day event. Knowing that Bella alerted me early today and I had the smell, I imagine by 8 or 9 tonight it will be bad and I'll be taking my pills, and tomorrow will just be a day where I lay low in comfy clothes and don't go anywhere and don't put any expectations on myself. That's just how and then the next day I'll either wake up full of energy or it will swing back up to head pain again. It's just the rhythm of my life. So that is a brief summary of hemiplegic migraine for me. The cane, it truly does come in handy. And it has 4 legs on it. And I am so thankful because when I first started on this journey, it was hard to admit that I needed assistance. My husband's like, you sure you need that? Can't I just hold you up? And I'm like, well, you go off to work and I would like to go to the grocery store, and get a little independence. I would like to walk the block and not feel terrified that it's going to happen again. The unknown of when it will show up is what makes it the worst part. But now that I've had it for 6 years, I've realized that it never just shows up. It will tell me it's coming. And my family's pretty good at telling me when I'm already walking wobbly or I'm talking like a drunk lady, and they'll say, we need to get you home. And I'm like, why? Like, because you're going to have a migraine. They'll know before I know. But anyway, I chose this one because it stands at attention waiting for me. Because it does me no good when it falls to the floor and I need to get up from a chair and it's laying down over there. I have trained Bella to get it and drag it over to me or carry it to me, but it's just much easier to get one with a quad. And the other thing is, I don't know if you can see this, you know those keychain stretchies? That's my secret. I hook it to my belt, my pants, my shirt, my purse, because inevitably I will put that cane down, start looking at the rack of shirts, spin around, go around, walk some more, and realize, where's my cane? Because I don't always need it for every step. It's just an assistant thing. If I was bad enough where I couldn't stand, I shouldn't be shopping. But I kept leaving it, and I'd have to backtrack for it. Or I'd stop at the ATM at the grocery store to pay, and I'd let go of it, and I'd do all that stuff, and I'd say, all right, bye-bye, have a good day. And because I had my cart to hand, here we go with the migraine words, hand holding, had my cart, because I could hold my hands on the cart, there we go, I didn't lose balance. But my cane would still be left at the store. So now it's attached to me when I'm walking with it. And when I start walking, it falls to the floor and starts dragging behind me, quite embarrassingly. So laugh with me. Please laugh with me. I think it's hilarious. But it does help me. It helps me remember. Helps me remember. And at the bottom, I put a little glow stick, what are they called? Slap. One of those slap bracelets that lights up. You can put them around your wrist when you're running or walking your dog. So if I'm out walking at night, I got that. If I'm in the airport or the power goes out in the building, I got it. I know where my cane is. So I don't leave it on all the time. There's no need for that. That's my babble for today. I don't think this video should go much further because I'm losing my words and it's getting too long. And I'm making a 3-part video, so these will be broken up. So maybe part of this video will be in another one. I really don't know. But hi and bye, and I bless you. Until we talk again. Rise above the door, need all my challenges and search for my strength. I defeat them all, I'm never ever gonna hide no more. I come to love myself again. Yeah. For all the things I didn't know, the pain, the hurt, I let it go. Start to believe in myself and life will be sweet again. So sweet again.